My parents took out a $170,000 loan in my name to fund my golden brother's lavish life. Now they regret it, but it's too late to undo what I just did. My name is Alex. I'm 23 years old, and I really thought I was finally getting my life together. I had just graduated from college, landed a great internship, and for once, things were actually going my way. I'd worked my butt off to get here and was finally starting to feel proud of myself. But then everything fell apart. Before we go any further, I'd love to know where in the world are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments below. I love seeing how far this little story can travel. Let's make this space feel a little more connected. No matter how many miles are between us. One day, I got an email from the bank. At first, I thought it was just another one of those generic notifications. Whatever. But then I actually opened it and my heart just about stopped. It said I owed $170,000. $170,000. I sat there, staring at the screen, thinking there's no way this has to be a mistake. How the hell could I owe that much? My entire college tuition was supposed to be around $85,000 tops, and that's if I hadn't gotten any scholarships. But I did. So this number made 0 sense. I started going over everything in my head, trying to figure out where this massive amount came from. Maybe they added an extra zero by accident or something? I know that sounds dumb, but I was just grasping at straws. I start freaking out. My mind is racing, trying to figure out what to do next. I knew I'd have some student debt, sure, but nothing even close to this. I thought I was being responsible, only taking out what I absolutely needed, working part-time at a cafe to keep my expenses low, managing my budget like an adult. So where the hell was this $170,000 coming from? The first thing I do is call my parents. I'm trying to stay calm, but I'm already sweating bullets. My mom picks up, and I try to explain the situation. But she's just like, "Oh, don't worry. It's probably just a mix-up with the bank. We'll sort it out." She says it in that way, like she's not really listening. Like she's already moving on to the next thing in her day. I push a little harder. "No, Mom, this is serious. The bank says I owe $170,000. I need to know why." There's this long, awkward pause. Then she starts saying how, yes, they did take out a loan in my name for college expenses, but it shouldn't be that high. She tries brushing it off again, saying, "Don't stress. We'll talk about it later." But I'm not having it. I ask her straight up, "Did you take out more than I needed? Like, did you take out the full amount just in case or something?" And that's when she goes quiet. I can practically hear the gears turning in her head as she scrambles for a response. Finally, she says, "Well, yeah. We took out the full amount, but it was just to make sure you had enough. In case your scholarship didn't cover everything." Now I'm the one left speechless. I'm trying to wrap my head around why they'd borrow so much money when it wasn't even necessary. I got a partial scholarship that covered a good chunk of tuition, and the rest? Covered by my job and some savings. So, why take out that much? $170,000. I keep asking more questions, and finally, my mom lets something slip. Something like, "Well, your brother needed some help too." My brain kind of short circuits. My twin brother, Tyler, didn't even go to college. He was too busy chasing his dream of becoming a model or some crap like that. So now I'm sitting there, trying to process the fact that they took out a loan in my name and gave part of it to him. I'm pissed. But I'm also completely confused. I mean, who does that? Why would they put me in this kind of situation without even telling me? I start getting louder on the phone, asking her how much they gave him and why they didn't just take out a separate loan in his name if he needed money so badly. But she keeps dodging the questions, trying to calm me down, saying we'll figure it out. Figure it out? Are you kidding me? I've got $170,000 of debt hanging over my head and she wants to figure it out later? I tell her we need to talk in person. She reluctantly agrees. When I hang up, I just sit there for a while, trying not to smash something. I honestly thought I was doing everything right, being careful with my money, working hard, planning for my future, and now I'm being blindsided by this massive financial disaster I didn't even know existed. The next few days pass in a weird haze. I can't focus on anything. Not work, not sleep. Every time I try to get something done, my mind drifts back to that email. Back to the crushing realization that my life is about to become way more complicated. When the weekend rolls around, I finally decide to drive over to my parents' house. I'm really hoping that this is some kind of mistake. That maybe the bank messed up or there's been a miscommunication. But deep down, I already know the truth. I pull up to the house, and everything looks normal. Like, how can everything be so damn normal when I've got this financial wrecking ball hanging over me? My parents are in the living room. The way they're sitting, the way they glance at me, they know exactly why I'm here. I don't bother with small talk. I need to know what's going on with this loan, I say, trying to keep my voice from shaking. My dad sighs, like this whole thing is just inconvenient for him. He starts in with some speech about how they were only trying to do what was best for both me and Tyler. That they didn't mean for it to turn out this way. But that's not good enough. I press for details. I want to know exactly how much they took out, how much they gave Tyler, and why they didn't tell me about it from the beginning. That's when my dad starts getting defensive. Saying things like, "We always tried to treat you boys equally. But it doesn't feel equal. Not even close. It feels like I'm the one who got screwed." After what feels like hours of going back and forth, they finally admit it. They gave Tyler $80,000 of the loan money. $80,000. To help him with his career. His modeling. His dream. Meanwhile, I, the one who actually went to college, am left holding a debt that's more than double what I ever needed. I can't believe what I'm hearing. $170,000. That's what I shouldn't owe. I ask them, again, why they didn't just take out a loan in Tyler's name. But the excuses start piling in. His grades weren't good enough. They didn't have assets for collateral. He wasn't in a position to take on debt. Blah, blah, blah. I'm fuming at this point. But I know yelling won't solve anything. So I tell them, as calmly as I can, I'm not paying a dime more than what I actually owe for my tuition. If Tyler wants to burn through $80,000 chasing a dream, that's his problem, not mine. They don't take that well. My mom launches into this speech about how it's my responsibility to help the family. How I'm being selfish. Selfish? Are you serious? I'm the one saddled with this mountain of debt because they decided to rescue Tyler without even telling me. I'm the one who worked my butt off in school, held a job, earned a scholarship, and now I'm the one who's being punished? I tell them, either you or Tyler figure out how to repay that $80,000, but I'm not carrying that burden. By the time I leave their house, I'm more furious than when I arrived. I feel like my whole world has flipped upside down. And I have no idea what to do next. But one thing is clear, I will not let them guilt me into paying off a debt that isn't mine. I go back to my apartment, but I can't shake the anger. The frustration. The injustice. No matter how hard I try to do the right thing, I keep getting screwed. And now I've got to figure out how to deal with this debt without losing my mind. But one thing's for sure, I'm not going down without a fight. After that disaster of a conversation, I'm back in my apartment, stewing. I can't let this go. I won't just sit back and accept that I'm $170,000 in the red because my parents decided to play favorites. I know I need to confront them again face to face, but this time, I want to be armed with facts. So I start doing research. Deep dives into student loans, how they work, my legal rights, and what options I might have. It's overwhelming, honestly. I feel like I'm drowning in financial jargon. But I figure out enough to realize one critical truth. They took out way more money than I ever needed, and they did it without fully explaining it to me. So I decide to go back. This time, I'm not going to let them talk in circles or deflect the blame. This time, I'm coming in with a plan. I arrive at their house again, and of course, everything looks infuriatingly normal. Like nothing's wrong. Like they're not living in a fantasy world where their choices didn't just torpedo my future. They're sitting in the living room watching TV. I take a deep breath and sit across from them. We need to talk, I say. They exchange glances. My dad pauses the TV. My mom sighs like this whole thing is some kind of inconvenience. I start laying it all out, what I found out about the loan, how much I should actually owe, and how the extra $80,000 was completely unnecessary. My mom's face starts to harden. My dad folds his arms like he's just waiting for me to finish my rant. Then I ask again why they didn't take out a separate loan for Tyler if he needed money so badly. That's when my dad finally speaks. You have to understand, your brother wasn't in a position to get a loan. His grades weren't great, and we didn't want him starting his adult life under that kind of burden. That kind of burden? So instead, you dumped it on me? I worked my ass off to get into college. I earned that scholarship. And now I'm the one who has to pay for Tyler's career? He starts getting defensive, going on about how they've always tried to support us equally, and how they didn't mean for it to turn out this way. But it doesn't feel equal. It feels like they're using me to cover up for Tyler's failures. I look them both in the eyes and say, point blank, I'm not paying back the $80,000 you gave him. That was your choice. Not mine. My mom's face goes pale. She starts tearing up. But I don't let it get to me. I know what this is, it's guilt. It's her trying to manipulate me into thinking I'm the bad guy here. But I'm not falling for it. Not this time. She starts in with the whole "we did this for the family" speech. Says they were just trying to give Tyler the same chance at success that I had. I fire back. How is giving Evan $80,000 to blow on God knows what the same as me using it to get an actual education? She doesn't have a good answer for that. She just starts crying harder. My dad, of course, jumps in to defend her. Tells me I'm being too harsh, that I don't understand the pressure they were under. But what about the pressure I'm under? I'm the one stuck with this massive debt for who knows how long. And they just don't seem to get that. We go back and forth, again and again. They keep trying to justify what they did. I keep shooting down every excuse. I'm getting more and more frustrated, but I'm trying to keep my cool. I don't want to lose my temper. But it's hard, so hard, when it feels like they're not listening. Not really hearing me. So finally, I change tactics. I tell them, calmly but firmly, if you don't pay back that $80,000, I'm going to have to take legal action. My dad's eyes go wide. My mom looks like she's about to have a full-blown meltdown. They start begging me not to do anything drastic. Saying it'll tear the family apart. Saying I'll regret it. But I'm done with the guilt trips. I tell them flat out that they need to figure out how to pay back that money, or I'll do what I have to do to protect myself. I can't let their favoritism destroy my financial future. That's when my mom finally speaks through her tears. We'll try to come up with a solution, she says. But I can tell. She's just trying to calm me down. My dad's still stunned that I'd even consider taking legal action, but he doesn't argue anymore. I think, for the first time, he realizes I'm serious. I'm not backing down. I get up to leave. As I'm walking out the door, my mom calls after me. Are you really going to go through with this? I stop. Turn around. If it comes down to it? Yeah. I will. Then I leave. I don't look back. Driving home, I'm a mess of emotions. Angry, obviously. But also, sad. I never wanted it to come to this. But what choice did they leave me? They put me in an impossible situation. And now I have to fight my way out of it. By the time I get back to my apartment, I'm emotionally wrecked. I collapse onto the couch and just stare up at the ceiling, trying to make sense of everything. I know I'm in for a long, painful battle. I don't know how it's going to end. But I do know this, I'm ready. I have to be. I start thinking about the next steps. What I need to do legally to protect myself. how I'm going to stay afloat financially. But mostly, I'm just exhausted. I didn't expect this to be easy, but I didn't think it would be this hard either. As I lie there, staring at the ceiling, I realize this is only the beginning. There's a long road ahead. And if I'm going to make it through, I have to stay strong. At least now, I know what I'm up against. And I'm not backing down. No matter what. After that blowout with my parents, I knew I couldn't just sit around waiting for them to magically fix the mess they made. If I've learned anything from all of this, it's that they're not exactly the take responsibility type. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. I needed to figure out what really happened with that loan. There's no way I'm letting this debt destroy my future, especially when nearly half of it was funneled into Tyler's partying or modeling nonsense or whatever the hell he did with it. First thing I do is dive into the paperwork. Not thrilling, sure, but I'm desperate. I gather everything I can find: loan agreements, bank statements, emails. I'm not even sure what I'm looking for, but I figure the more I know, the better. And that's when I start seeing the red flags. I've got these bills from college that show my actual tuition. But they don't line up with the amounts listed on the loan documents. There's a huge gap between what I owed for school and what was taken out in my name. It's infuriating. Because now it's obvious, they took out way more than they needed. And they didn't even tell me. But what really makes my blood boil? I find out how they got access to my bank account. Back when I was 18, I was clueless about all this financial stuff. I mean, who really understands loans and legal forms at that age? I was just trying to survive freshman year. So when my parents told me to sign some paperwork, I didn't even think twice. I trusted them. Big mistake. Turns out, I signed over full access to my account, supposedly so they could help manage my funds while I was in college. I thought they were just trying to help. Thought they wanted to make sure I didn't overspend or forget to pay bills. But now I see the truth in black and white. They used that access to pull out an extra $80,000. No heads up. No conversation. Nothing. They just did it. I feel like I've been played. Like they knew I didn't understand what I was signing, and they used that to their advantage. And as the anger builds, so does something else: this deep, gut-wrenching sense of betrayal. These are my parents. The people who are supposed to protect me. And they've thrown me under the bus to help Tyler coast through life. But I'm not giving up. If anything, this just lights a fire in me. I'm more determined than ever to get out of this mess. So I start doing research. Late into the night, scrolling through articles and legal forums, trying to figure out if there's any way to undo what they did. I find out that, in some cases, unauthorized transactions or fraudulent loans can be challenged. But it's complicated. And there's a time limit, a statute of limitations, on how long you have to file a complaint. I start to panic, wondering if too much time has already passed. But I keep digging. Tyler's been skating by while I'm drowning in this mess. And I'm not okay with that anymore. Yeah, he's my brother, but I'm done being the one who always has to clean up after him. It's time he faced some consequences of his own. I decide I'm going to confront him directly. No more letting our parents shield him from reality. I want to know exactly what he did with that money, and whether there's even a sliver of a chance he'll step up and take responsibility. I know it's a long shot. Tyler's never been the responsible type. But I have to try. So one night, I wait up for him at our parents' house. He usually gets home after midnight, so I brew a pot of strong coffee and post up in the kitchen. Our parents are already asleep. Perfect. No interruptions. No defenses. When I finally hear his car pull into the driveway, my heart starts pounding. I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm ready for whatever happens. He walks in, casual as ever, and I play it cool. I offer him some coffee, and we chat, small talk about school, work, nothing meaningful. I'm trying to ease into the conversation. He's relaxed, even smiling. Totally unaware. Finally, I bring it up. I ask him if he knows how deep I'm in it because of the money our parents gave him. He looks at me blankly, like he genuinely has no idea what I'm talking about. And that just pisses me off even more. I lay it all out. The $80,000. The loan in my name. The fact that I'm the one stuck paying it back. He just sits there, eyebrows raised, face slowly turning from confused to surprised. Then he says, "What money?" I didn't get $80,000. That's when I lose it. I start raising my voice, telling him our parents took out this massive loan under my name for him. That they gave him the money. He just sits there like I'm speaking another language. Then finally, he says, "Oh, that. I thought they just gave me some money to help out with stuff." Stuff. He thought they gave him $80,000 for stuff. I ask him what he even did with it, and he shrugs. I don't know. I guess I spent it on, like, trips and going out with friends. You know, the usual. The usual. Are you kidding me? This guy burned through $80,000 on partying and vacations while I'm stuck paying off the loan, and he has the nerve to call it the usual? I can't even describe how furious I am. I start yelling. Telling him he has to pay it back, that it's his responsibility. That I'm not going to shoulder his reckless choices. But he just looks at me like I'm the crazy one. Like this whole thing has nothing to do with him. He says, "It's not my fault. Mom and Dad gave me the money. I didn't ask for it." And that's when it hits me. He doesn't feel bad. He doesn't care. I'm going to suffer for years, maybe decades, because of this, and he's just going to keep floating through life, doing whatever he wants, pretending none of it is his fault. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I tell him, plain and clear, I'm not paying a single cent of that $80,000. And if you don't figure out a way to pay it back, I'm taking legal action. He just laughs. Like I'm joking. He actually says, "Good luck with that." That's it. That's all he has to say. I storm out of the kitchen without another word. No goodnight, no slam of the door, just pure, simmering rage. I'm so angry I can't even think straight. How did I end up here? How did I get stuck with a brother who doesn't care and parents who think it's totally okay to use me like this? I go back to my apartment and collapse onto my bed, drained in every sense of the word. But even though I'm exhausted, sleep won't come. My brain won't stop replaying the conversation, the blank look on Tyler's face, his shrug, that smug little laugh. I know one thing for sure. I can't let this go. I don't know exactly what the next step is, but I do know this: I'm done playing nice. If my family thinks they can just walk all over me, they're in for a rude awakening. I'm not backing down. I'm not giving up. It's time. After that disaster of a conversation with Tyler, I'm back in my apartment, still trying to calm down. It feels like I've been punched in the gut, like every time I think I've hit rock bottom, something else drags me even lower. My parents won't take responsibility. Tyler's acting like this is no big deal. And I'm the one left holding the bag. I'm starting to feel completely alone in this, like I'm fighting a battle no one else even acknowledges. But here's the thing, I'm not the type to just roll over and take it. If they think I'm going to quietly pay off $170,000 of debt without a fight, they've seriously underestimated me. I realize I can't just keep reacting to their decisions. I need to take control. Set boundaries. Make it clear that I'm done with the excuses and the guilt trips. So I decide to give my parents one last chance. One final opportunity to make things right before I take things to the next level. Legal level. Permanent level. I know it's a risk. But at this point, what do I have to lose? I call them and say I'm coming over. My mom sounds hesitant on the phone, like she knows what's coming. But I don't give her details. I just say, we need to talk. I try to keep my emotions in check, but inside, I'm a mess. I don't know how they'll react. I don't know what I'll do if they blow me off again. But I do know I have to do this. When I get to their place, it's the same old routine. They're in the living room watching TV. Like nothing's wrong. Like their son isn't drowning in debt they created. I sit down across from them and take a deep breath. I think for a second about how to start. I know I can't come in too hot or they'll just shut down. So I start calm. I lay it out again. The numbers. The loan. The situation. The pressure I'm under. My mom, predictably, starts getting emotional. She says they never meant for things to get this bad. That they were just trying to help Tyler. That they thought I could handle it. I've heard it all before. And I'm tired of hearing it. I cut her off and say it straight. This isn't about Tyler anymore. This isn't about Tyler anymore. I say it's about the fact that you put me in an impossible situation and expect me to just deal with it. Then I drop the bombshell. I tell them that if they don't come up with a way to pay back the $80,000 they took out in my name for Tyler, I'm going to take legal action. I've looked into it. I've done the research. I know I have a case. I explain it clearly, no shouting, no drama. Just the truth, what they did, taking out more money than I needed, using my account to transfer funds to Tyler, faking tuition-related bills, it's all grounds for a lawsuit. And if they don't fix it, I'll have no choice but to protect myself. The room goes silent. My mom looks like she's about to cry again, but this time, it's not guilt or sadness I see on her face. It's panic. My dad's staring at me, like he's trying to figure out if I'm bluffing. But I'm not. I'm dead serious. And they know it. He's the first to speak, trying to sound reasonable. Isn't there any way we can work this out without dragging the law into it? But I'm done negotiating. This is your mess, I say. You need to clean it up. I'm not going to ruin my life because you decided to gamble on Tyler's future. My mom starts pleading, saying they don't have the money. That they're already struggling. That going to court would destroy our family. And for a second, I almost feel bad for her. Almost. But then I remember every sleepless night. Every panic attack. Every time I stared at that loan balance wondering how the hell I was going to survive it. They didn't feel bad when they kept this secret from me. So no, I don't feel bad now. I stand my ground. I'm giving you 2 weeks, I say. Come up with a plan to repay the $80,000. If you don't, I file the lawsuit. No more discussion. No more guilt trips. I've sacrificed enough for this family. Now my dad's getting angry. He says I'm being unreasonable. That I'm tearing the family apart over money. But I don't let him manipulate me. Not this time. You're the ones who put me in this position, I fire back. I'm doing what I have to do to protect myself. We go back and forth like that for a while. They try every angle: reason, guilt, denial. But I don't back down. I keep repeating the same thing, calmly but firmly: this is not my debt. This is your responsibility. Finally, my dad gives in, or pretends to. We'll see what we can do, he says, voice tight, jaw clenched. My mom's still crying, but I don't have the energy to comfort her. I know that sounds harsh, but I've been pushed to the edge. I've given them every chance. And now I've drawn the line. I leave their house feeling drained, but also, strangely, relieved. For the first time in this whole nightmare, I feel like I'm finally standing up for myself. I don't know if they'll come through. Honestly, I'm not holding my breath. But I do know this: if they don't, I'll follow through. I'll take legal action. I'll protect myself. It's not what I want. But it's what I have to do. Over the next few days, I wait. I keep checking my phone, half expecting a call, something from my parents saying they figured it out, that they're going to make this right. But nothing. Just a few texts from my mom. She's asking me to reconsider. Telling me how hard this is on them. How they're scared of what's going to happen to the family. But I don't budge. I keep replying with the same reminder: 2 weeks. That's the deadline. That's all they've got. As the days crawl by, I start preparing for the worst. I organize everything I've gathered: every document, every bank statement, every email. I print copies, highlight details, make sure nothing slips through the cracks. I even consult with a lawyer, just to be sure I'm not going in blind. It feels surreal, like I'm gearing up for a war. A war against my own family. But that's exactly what it is. My friends are worried. So is my girlfriend. Yet they've been supportive, checking in, offering to help however they can, but I can see it in their eyes when they ask me, "Are you sure you want to go through with this?" It's a fair question. Who wants to sue their own parents? But I keep giving them the same answer. I don't have a choice. If I let this slide, I'll be paying for it, literally, for the rest of my life. The 2-week deadline finally rolls around. And still, nothing. No phone call. No plan. No apology. No action. I'm starting to think they're just going to ignore it. Pretend it'll go away. Hope I'll cave. But they clearly don't know me as well as they think they do. I'm not backing down. I text my mom one last time. It's short and simple, reminder, the deadline is today. If I don't hear from you by midnight, I'm filing the lawsuit tomorrow. That night, I lie in bed staring at the ceiling. I feel like I'm standing at the edge of something, a line I can't uncross. Once I go forward, there's no going back. It's this storm of emotions swirling in me: anger, sadness, fear. But also, something unexpected: relief. I've done everything I could to give them a chance. If they choose to ignore it, that's on them. The next morning, I wake up to a text from my mom. Just a few lines. But it says everything I need to know: we're working on getting the money together. Please don't do anything yet. We'll talk soon. It's not a resolution. Not even a real plan. But it's something. It means they're finally taking me seriously. I text her back, "You have one more week to come up with a concrete plan. If you do, I'll hold off. But if you're stalling, I won't hesitate." I'm not bluffing. And they know it. For now, all I can do is wait. Wait and see if they'll finally do the right thing. I want to believe they will, but I'm not holding my breath. One thing I do know. I'm ready for whatever comes next. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. But at least now I'm not alone in this fight. I've got my records. My lawyer. My friends. My resolve. Update 1. Since that last message from my mom, I've been stuck in this strange limbo, waiting to see if they're actually going to pull through, or if they're just stringing me along again. It's frustrating as hell. But I'm trying to stay grounded. I know it's unlikely. But then, on the last day of the deadline, I get a call. From Tyler. I'm surprised. He's been pretty quiet since our last conversation, distant. Detached. I wasn't expecting to hear from him again, at least not like this. I answer, and he's not yelling like my dad was. But he is upset. His voice is tight, tired. He starts off by saying he's sorry things have gotten this bad, and that he wishes there was something he could do to fix it. I'm skeptical, but I let him talk. He says he's been thinking about what I told him. That he understands why I'm so angry. That he gets it now, that taking the money without asking questions was wrong. That he should have been more responsible. And then he drops the bomb. He doesn't have any way to pay it back. Modeling hasn't exactly taken off the way he hoped. He's barely scraping by, picking up side gigs and part-time jobs, barely making enough to keep his car running. He sounds frustrated. Defeated, even. And a part of me wants to feel bad for him. But mostly, I'm just exhausted. I tell him that I appreciate him owning up to his mistake, but that doesn't change anything. I'm still the one stuck with the debt. I'm still the one who has to live with the consequences. If he can't pay it back, then our parents need to. Simple as that. He sighs and says he'll talk to them. But I can tell from his tone, he knows as well as I do, they're not in any hurry to take responsibility. We end the call on a tense note. And I feel even more drained than before. Every time I think I'm finally getting close to a resolution, something yanks me backward. The next day, I get a message from my lawyer. Are you ready to move forward? This is it, the moment of truth. Either they come up with the money, or I'm taking my own parents to court. I send one final text to my mom, a clear, calm reminder that the deadline is up. If I don't hear from you by the end of the day, I'm filing the lawsuit tomorrow. Hours pass. Nothing. I start to accept the truth that this is really happening. That I'm going to have to take legal action against my own parents just to reclaim my future. It feels surreal. Like I've somehow wandered into some twisted alternate reality where none of this makes sense anymore. And then, just as I'm about to give up hope, I get a text from my dad. It's short. Blunt. No emotion. We've managed to pull together some money. We'll pay you back in installments. No apology. No explanation. Nothing about the lies or the betrayal or the weight they put on me. Just the beginning of repayment. It's not the win I was hoping for. But it's something. I text him back, I'll accept the payments. But I'll be watching closely. If you miss a single payment, I'll file immediately. He replies, understood. That's it. No closure. No repair. Just business. For the first time in months, I feel like I have some control back. But it's a bittersweet victory. I had to fight hard to get here. And what I lost along the way can't be measured in dollars. My relationship with my parents? Probably beyond repair. Tyler? I don't know if we'll ever really speak again. But at least now I can start to move forward. Knowing that I protected myself. Knowing that I stood up not just to them, but for myself. It's a strange feeling. Relief, mixed with sadness. Anger, tangled up with a sense of closure. This isn't the ending I wanted. But maybe it's the one I needed. But I know one thing for sure, I'm never going to let them take advantage of me again. This is the start of a new chapter. And I'm determined to make the most of it, no matter what. Update 2: After my dad agreed to start paying me back in installments, I actually thought maybe things might finally start to settle down. It wasn't the perfect resolution, not by a long shot. But at least they were taking some responsibility. I figured, okay. We can do this. We can move on. I can start focusing on my life again. But, of course, nothing is ever that simple when it comes to my family. The first few payments came through. Small, but consistent. Enough to give me a sliver of hope, a tiny bit of light at the end of a long, dark tunnel. And I held on to that like a lifeline. For a second, I even let myself believe that maybe, just maybe, we could start to rebuild something. That maybe, in time, the damage could be repaired. I must have been out of my mind. Because out of nowhere, the payments stopped. No warning. No explanation. Just silence. At first, I thought maybe there was a glitch. I kept refreshing my bank account, watching the screen like it was going to magically change. But no. Nothing. Days passed. Still nothing. I tried to stay calm, not jump to conclusions. Told myself, maybe they're just running late. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they'll catch up. But deep down, that sinking feeling was already back. And as the days stretched into weeks, I couldn't deny it anymore. They weren't going to pay. They'd gone back on their word. Just like they always do. And I'm right back to square one. All the stress, the anxiety, the emotional whiplash, and for what? I'm furious. Beyond furious. It feels like they've been stringing me along this entire time, giving me just enough hope to keep me quiet, waiting until they thought I'd forget, let it go. But they clearly still don't understand who they're dealing with. I pick up my phone and start drafting a text to my dad. No emotion, no sugarcoating, just the facts. I lay it all out. You missed your payment. I'm not tolerating this. I gave you every chance to make this right, and now you've failed to follow through again. You have until the end of the day to explain yourself. If I don't hear from you, I'm filing the lawsuit tomorrow morning. I hit send. And then I wait. And wait. And wait. The whole time, I'm pacing around my apartment, trying to keep myself from snapping. Every few minutes, I check my phone. Still nothing. It's like they've decided to ghost me, hoping I'll just get tired, give up, let it all go. But they clearly still don't know me. I'm done being patient. Done being understanding. Done being the one who gets screwed while everyone else walks away clean. Finally, after what feels like forever, my phone buzzes. It's a text from my mom, and I can already tell from the first few words that it's not going to be good. She says they're sorry for missing the payment, but things have been difficult lately, and they just don't have the money right now. She's asking me to give them more time. Asking me to be patient. To understand that they're doing the best they can. But I know they're not. They're just trying to buy time again. Hoping I'll eventually let it go. And I can't let it go. Not this time. I've already given them more chances than they deserved, and all they've done is use me. I text her back, and this time I don't hold back. I tell her I've been more than patient. I've waited. I've given them every opportunity to make things right. And now I'm done. If they don't have the money by tomorrow, I'm filing the lawsuit. No more excuses. No more delays. I'm tired of being treated like a doormat. The rest of the day is a blur of emotions. Anger. Frustration. Exhaustion. I feel like I've been fighting this battle forever, and I'm nearly out of steam. But I know I can't give up now. If I let them win again, I'll never be able to look at myself in the mirror. So I brace myself. That night, I can't sleep. I toss and turn, my mind spinning through everything, the lies, the manipulation, the weight of it all. I keep thinking, where did it all go wrong? But the more I think about it, the more I realize it didn't go wrong. It's always been like this. Tyler was always the priority. I was always the cleanup crew. And I'm done playing that role. The next morning, I wake up feeling like I've been hit by a truck. Emotionally wiped out. But I know I have to follow through. I get up, make coffee, and start organizing the final documents I'll need to file the lawsuit. Everything's ready, every email, every text, every piece of proof. I know my case is solid. That doesn't make it any easier. Just as I'm about to head out to meet my lawyer, my phone rings. It's my mom. For a second, I think about ignoring it. But something in me says answer. So I do. She's crying. Begging me not to go through with the lawsuit. Saying they'll figure something out. That they'll find the money. I listen. And for a moment, I feel that old familiar pang of guilt. I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to be the reason my family falls apart. But then I remember everything. Everything they did. Everything they didn't do. Everything they let me suffer through in silence. And I steel myself. I tell her I've already given them more than enough chances. And I'm not backing down. She keeps crying. Keeps begging. But I stay firm. Eventually, she gives up and hangs up. And I just stand there, phone still in my hand, feeling like the worst person in the world. But I can't get pulled into their chaos again. I have to protect myself. Even if it means hurting the people I used to care about most. I meet with my lawyer later that day, and we start the process of filing the lawsuit. It's surreal. Sitting there. Signing papers. Knowing this could change everything. Part of me still hopes they'll come through at the last minute. That they'll finally, truly do the right thing. But I'm not counting on it. Over the next few days, the fallout begins. Family members start calling. Texting. Some supportive. Some, not. Aunts. Cousins. Even a couple of friends. Word's gotten out. Everyone's got an opinion. Some tell me I'm doing the right thing. That it's about time someone in the family stood up and said enough. But others? Not so kind. They say I'm tearing the family apart. That I'm being selfish. That I should have just let it go. It hurts. Especially coming from people I thought I could count on. But I know they don't know the full story. They don't know what I've been through. They're seeing the surface, not the years of betrayal and disappointment underneath. I try not to let it get to me. But it's hard. I feel like I'm losing everything: family, friends, my support system, all because I finally stood up for myself. But then I remember, I deserve better. I don't have to keep sacrificing myself to protect people who won't protect me. Update 3. A few weeks have passed since I officially filed the lawsuit. It's easily the hardest thing I've ever done. I never imagined I'd be fighting my own parents in court. If you told me a year ago this would be my reality, I would have laughed in your face. But here we are. As expected, people took sides fast. Everyone had something to say. Some cousins reached out to say they were proud of me. But the older relatives? Not so understanding. They clung to the family first mantra. Don't air your dirty laundry. Just take the hit. Keep the peace. But what peace? The trust was already shattered. And Tyler? Still acting like I'm the bad guy. I can't count how many times I've heard the word ungrateful tossed around. As if I should be thankful for being saddled with $170,000 of debt to fund someone else's dream. The legal process started slowly: back and forth paperwork, calls, court dates being set. It was overwhelming. But my lawyer kept me grounded, explained everything without talking down to me. That helped more than I can say. Still, every time I had to sign something, it hit like a punch to the gut. This wasn't a nightmare. This was real life. And then, about a week ago, my lawyer called. My parents wanted to settle. I guess they realized I wasn't bluffing, that dragging this into court would cost them a lot more than just $80,000. I wasn't surprised. They've always cared more about saving face than doing what's right. Still, it felt like a small weight lifting. We met at my lawyer's office. They looked exhausted. My mom couldn't meet my eyes. My dad looked furious, like he still couldn't believe I was the one making them pay for their mistakes. The talks were tense. My lawyer did most of the talking, thank God, because I don't think I could have kept my cool. They tried to lowball me. But my lawyer shut it down fast. Eventually, they agreed to pay the full $80,000 plus extra for legal fees. It wasn't a victory parade. More like a hollow win. I got what I wanted. But I lost everything else. Tyler didn't even show up. I guess he figured once mom and dad were paying, it wasn't his problem anymore. When it was over, my mom tried to talk to me. Said she was sorry. Said they never meant for things to get this bad. But I couldn't even look at her. I just said, it's too late. Maybe that sounds cold. But sorry only goes so far when your actions have already done the damage. My dad didn't say a word. Just walked out. Didn't look back. I stood there watching them go and thought, this might be the last time I ever see them. Because how do you come back from this? How do you pretend this never happened? And honestly, I'm not sure I even want to. The money came through a few days later. I used it to pay off the last of the loan. I'm debt-free now. But it doesn't feel like the celebration I imagined. There's this emptiness where my family used to be. And I don't know how to fill it. My friends have been amazing. My girlfriend has been my rock. But that hole, it's real. No matter how broken things were, they were still my parents. Now they're just people I used to know. I'm trying to move on. My internship turned into a full-time job. I'm doing well for myself. I've even started looking at bigger apartments. A fresh start. But sometimes, I still wonder. Did I make the right choice? Should I have just taken the hit and kept the peace? But then I remember, they used me. They lied to me. They gambled with my future. And I know, I did what I had to do. Doing the right thing doesn't always feel good. Sometimes, it just feels necessary. So here I am. Trying to rebuild. Trying to figure out what comes next. It's not easy. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't have doubts. But I'm learning to trust myself. To believe that I can stand on my own 2 feet without their approval. That's what this mess has taught me. That I'm stronger than I thought. That I don't have to keep fighting for people who won't fight for me. That sometimes, peace comes from walking away from the people who keep tearing you down. I don't know what the future holds. But for the first time in a long time, I'm okay with that. I'm living for me now. And maybe, just maybe, that's the best outcome I could have hoped for. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to stand up to your own family? Let me know in the comments, I want to hear your story. And hey, if you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss more content like this. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself. Stay strong.